Biggest takeaways from the latest book, How Not to Diet. What were some of the things that you learned that surprised you that you're passing on?
Oh my God. I mean, so I thought I would do just kind of a decent review of all the latest and come out with the same kind of, eat less, hit the gym kind of advice, but it would just be all, solidly based on science. But I had no idea that there's these entire fields I was unaware of. For example, chronobiology, the field of the effects of your circadian rhythms on biological processes. I didn't know anything about that. I mean, there's chemotherapy data where if you give chemotherapy at a different time of day, you can get better efficacy, less side effects just by what time of the day. I'd heard about some of that, but you can take that throughout lifestyle. Depends when you exercise, depends when you eat, meal timing. I mean, you eat the exact same number of calories at breakfast. There are less fattening than the exact same calories at dinner. A snack at night, more fattening than a snack, 8 hours later. Crazy things like that, where this whole concept that a calorie is a calorie just got totally blown out of the water. Okay. Right? It's not just what you eat, but what you absorb, and your microbiome, affects what you eat and how many calories you actually hold on to versus flush down the. There was much more at play. And we have much more leverage than I had imagined before. So it's not just, cut out junk food and, on down. There's all these kind of little kind of tweaks and hacks and techniques you can do for regardless of what you eat, where you can accelerate fat burning. So that was that's the second half of the book, actually. So the first half of the book, I just go through the 17 ingredients, what I call them, of a optimal weight loss diet. I want to start from the ground up. It's like
what are some of those?
So it's like I didn't want the book to be out of date before it even came out. So instead of playing whack-a-mole and just talking about the current diet, so I was like, here's the template you can compare any future diet to. So, for example, high fiber. So if there was one piece of advice, increasing fiber intake, probably the number one piece of advice, increasing fiber-rich foods, because it works from a whole variety of mechanisms, primarily feeding your good gut flora, which releases these short-chain fatty acids, get absorbed into our system, make it up into our brain, actually affect our appetite center. So eating beans at night actually decreases your food consumption at lunch the next day when by the time your gut bacteria are eating that same bean burrito, they're releasing these short-chain fatty acids, actually affect your appetite. You eat 100 calories less at the next day, 11 hours later, had you eaten something else for dinner. Amazing studies like that. High in fiber-rich foods is one of the 17. High in water-rich foods. So they did the satiety index where they took dozens of common foods, had people eat a certain number of calories, and just say how full do you feel over the next few hours, and you can do an index and compare it to white bread, for example, eating 100 calories of white bread, 100 calories of anything else, and they found that the most important component was not protein content or fiber content, but water content. How much the water content of the food primarily indicated how much satiety in terms of fullness.
Okay.
Vegetables, so water-rich vegetables. So there's a variety of vegetables that are 95% water by weight. 95% water.
Which you would think, why would I eat it?
So, right. So something like, Napa cabbage or bean sprouts or iceberg lettuce, cucumbers, zucchini, 95. So a big bowl of water-rich vegetables, basically a big bowl of water, right? I mean, there's just nothing. And so you could some foods are just impossible to overeat. They're so low in calorie density, so few calories per mouthful, per stomachful. You literally just couldn't fit them in. You'd have to eat wheelbarrows worth of food, right?
Okay.
Those
are good for you.
And so these are good for you, and that so you can practice what's called negative calorie preloading. So eating an apple, for example, before a meal. A large apple before a meal cuts down about 200 calories. You eat 300 calories less, so the apple contains 100 calories. Okay. But you eat 300 calories less, so the apple ends up being negative 200 calories. So you say, how many calories does an apple have? It depends on when you eat it. If you eat it right before a meal, it can effectively have negative 200 calories. I mean, that's just how the math plays out. And part of that is because water rich and also air rich. About 20% of apple by volume is air. That's why I can bob for it on Halloween.
Right. And that affects your hunger levels.
And
your
actually, right, because
satiation
it's actually trapped. And so you have this mass in your stomach. And yeah, I mean, just remarkable stuff, right?
All right, so lots of these things and 17 different types of
So
foods.
17, and so that basically you can just so I have actually a chart in the book where any particular food, any meal pattern, any new diet, you can just line it up against these 17, see which diet kind of ticks off most of the boxes. And then the second half of the book are the weight loss acceleration, regardless of what you eat. Hopefully people won't just skip to this section, but regardless of what you eat, there's ways you can eat that food. There are foods that act as fat blockers and starch blockers and metabolism boosters and all these appetite suppressants, proven in some cases in double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled trials, like simple spices they can take, which can accelerate body fat loss. I mean, stuff that I had no idea about before coming into this. So I was super excited. In fact, even came across something which no one has ever I actually came up with a novel weight loss technique that has never been put to the test, obviously, because apparently no one ever thought about it before. Actually, I came across it in the Russian cosmonaut research.
Really?
I mean, which just shows that if you do this broad enough search, you can try to piece together disparate things from all over the place.
You gonna tell us what it is, or we have to buy the book?
Well, no, I can tell you, but it's so
it's going into 0G. That's quitting. That's cheating.
It's sleeping in mild Trendelenburg, which is with your head down tilt by 6 degrees. So you put like 4 bricks under the footpost of your bed. Okay. You actually sleep at basically what that does is all this fluid rushes to your chest from your limbs. And that's actually how you simulate 0G is you train astronauts like that.
Okay.
Because anyway,
fascinating
story. And so what that does is it simulates exercise. Basically, there's your heart releases a hormone that realizes it has so much more fluid in its heart it thinks you're running a marathon or something. And that accelerates fat loss. That gets your fat loss burning and peaks within the next 4 hours. And you should not do it if you have glaucoma. You should not do it if you have heart failure. You should not. There's a couple of things. There's a couple caveats of people that may want to give it a try. And it'll give you what's called a space headache. That's technically what they call it.
Okay.
It makes your face a little puffy or something, but
yes,
it should work.
All right, but this is all whole food, plant-based stuff. You didn't find that eating pig sausage was a great thing.
I was open to it. So so this book, I already did the if you want to be healthy, combat chronic disease book. That's done as far as I'm concerned. This was really like, if it works, I'm going to include it. Now to a point. So for example, smoking helps you lose weight because of nicotine.
Right.
Thankfully, we can actually get nicotine without smoking by eating the vegetables from the same nightshade kingdom. So eating green peppers, for example, get enough nicotine in our body that actually affects our nicotine receptors and may be able to get weight loss through the same nicotine pathway. But I don't have a chapter on which brand is the best cigarette to smoke or the best way to get tuberculosis or cancer or AIDS or chemotherapy. Lots of ways to lose weight. The whole point is not to fit into a skinnier casket, right? Or to lighten the load for your pallbearers. The point is you want healthy, sustainable. But I definitely included stuff that, I say, look, this isn't the best for your health for these reasons. But in terms of weight loss, that's what you came here for the book.
Okay.
This is what you should do.
But you didn't mention elk meat or kangaroo meat or anything. There's no animal products mentioned.
So one of the criteria is low in meat.
Okay, low in meat.
Low in meat. Okay. So a diet low in meat is one of the criteria. You should look at any kind of dietary pattern in terms of weight loss efficacy. And I just go through all the literature where, these randomized studies where you can, and part of it is because of the calorie density, lack of fiber, and there's reasons why there are better choices for meat for weight loss.
Okay, but you don't say no meat, you say low in meat, but you let them understand that the lowest meat is no meat.
So I talk about the research. And just present the research and let people up there. And I talk about the healthier. So I talk about like the venison. Like if you're gonna eat meat, eat this kind of meat. Yeah, no, absolutely.
That's good.